Hello, Prince. How are you? Jamie, hello, dear. Abhishek. Hope you're all doing well, and I hope that the sound quality and the screen is transmitting well. Hope you all had a good week. It seems like it's been a long time, I don't know why, since our last discussion. Rashid, hello, dear, from Morocco. My pleasure. I'm glad that you're feeling better and that our discussions was helpful to you. Keep your chin up. World is not summed up in one relationship or one woman or one partner. Life has lots to offer, and often it is, lots challenging, different kinds, brings depression, sadness. But persevere, things always change. There is no two same waves if you sit in front of the ocean and watch. They're all different. The mood of the ocean changes, as furious as it may look, but it changes on a dime, in a second. So always be alert, take good care of yourselves, and things will always change. And then you will see how you should negotiate your little boat on this ocean of life. Glad you feel better. I'm trying something different today. This is blueberry juice, just a little bit, and the rest hot water. Not bad. Interesting. Hello, Rox from Romania, Bucharest. Good to see you here, dear. Misbah, good to see you. Justin, hello, dear. Guys, remember to let me know where you are tuning in. Prince asked, how do you choose which material to mix together? What do you mean? What kind of material? You're making a suit, or what are you doing? Are you cooking? Come on now. Throw me the bone. Give me the info. Hello, Rox. You're welcome. Justin from Cochin, Kerala, India. I see. Okay, good. So we are hoping that you had a good week and you sorted things out and you're one step ahead of the week before on the journey to achieve what you're set out to achieve, your goals and what you want to build and make out of yourself in this life. Prince says, for your drink, I mean. Oh, I did mention it's just blueberry juice, this much of the cup, very little, and the rest hot water. You seem to be drinking very different beverages from time to time, like your apple and lemonade drink, which I don't see you drink anymore. Yeah, sometimes depending on on the season, you don't feel like having juices. And I used to have juice every day, 2-3 times a day sometimes. Different mixtures, parsley, carrots, beets, and lemon, a whole, or celery, cucumber, lemon, and stuff. Apple, always apple. But sometimes you don't feel like it, and it's good to have the whole vegetable or the whole fruit, and that is a different goodness for the body. So a mixture is good, whichever you feel like it. These days I'm having something really weird that you may actually be surprised. I have a jug of mixture of 5-6 huge lemons, yellow ones with skin and all. I cut them, take all the seeds out, put it in the blender, and about 30 or 40 cloves of garlic, peeled or some of them not peeled, put it in the blender, and about 1 liter, eventually 1 liter of water, and this length of a ginger. Put it all in there and whip it as good as possible. Then put it in a pot and let it just come to boil. A couple of boils, a couple of boiling bubbles that you see, that's the end of it. Stop. Cool it up and put it in the fridge. Strain it, and put it in the fridge. And then every day, morning or night, on empty stomach, just have half a cup. Apparently, that's very good for the whole system and cleaning all the veins and arteries and so on from bad cholesterol and helping blood pressure come down and all these things. It's supposed to be something health tonic, healthy thing. So it's an interesting taste to have it at night or in the morning. But having thought of that taste, this sounds really good right now. So, do we have any interesting questions and subjects to have our conversation today? It seems to me the same group that joins every Saturday or every Sunday. The Sunday is a bigger crowd because it's a bigger Facebook page that has about 5.2 million reach on the amazing things in the world. But my own Facebook page has about 13,000 likes. So I encourage if you could share that page and other people join us, so we'll have a bigger crowd here. But it seems to me the same group who joined us mostly on Saturdays on my own Facebook page, this page that you have the link up there, there are less and less questions, which means you guys are feeling very good and confident, and the questions have been answered, and you're managing better than the beginning. But sometimes we have lots of different questions, not about particularly your issues, but about what you're interested in adding to your knowledge as far as life and perception and negotiating with day-to-day events of life is concerned. And that's very good. Now, let's see. No, I sometimes, I search them, the mixtures of these drinks, and sometimes I just think that they're all good individually, so they should be good together, and sometimes I miss it and it's not tasting that great. Rashid says, you are Persian, how did you master your English language? Everybody in the world comes from somewhere, and they all master different languages depending on how interested and in tune they are, and they really want to learn it, and they pay full attention. I usually pay full attention to what I want to learn. I totally focused on it. Whether it was sports activities when I was younger, or something I want to learn, martial arts, or the philosophy or meditation, or the stuff that I've learned about thoughts, consciousness, fears, desires, and egos, and how they interrelate, how they work together or work against each other, and make us perceive life the way we do, and affects us in the things that we deal through life. But when you're much younger and you start learning a language and you're focused on it, you'll get good at it. And I went to university in the States, so that was very helpful. But mind you, up to the 4th year of the university, I had one hand textbook and the other hand dictionary, to the point that I could just give me a word and I would flip the dictionary open pretty much on that page or a few pages here and there. That word would come. That's how much I used the dictionary when I was studying, because English was my second language. Now, pretty much now seems like it's first language, even though still there are things that one can learn in any language. Even your own mother tongue, there are things that you don't know and you eventually may run across them, run into them, learn them. You don't use all the words or all the things that are available in a language through your lifetime. You may or may not, unless you make that your own project to become proficient in that particular language, whether it's your mother tongue or not. Like Professor Chomsky is a linguist, and he's a man who's focused thoroughly on linguistics and so on, and that's a different journey. Wow, these flowers are nice. I love them. What are they? These are new. They're not hearts, they're not thumbs, they're flowers. Thank you, whoever is sending them. Thank you for the hearts. Now, let's see if you have any questions here. Brenda says, stress, how to get in control of work and life stress. I'm going to guess what you mean. You probably want to know how to control the stress in life. Well, I hope that is what you're asking. So maybe you give me an okay or not if I understood your question or not while I look at the other questions and I come back to it. Okay, Brenda? Murtaza says, or we are analyzing what is going right now. Or we are, what is the or for? Is it a continuation of my explanation? Every question you guys send me, send it complete sentence, because I don't know what I was talking about, to whom I was talking about, so I get lost there. Rashid says, okay, somebody said yes. Let's see, that must be Brenda. Okay, so let's talk about Brenda's questions. We have lots of questions now. That's good. We filled up. So Brenda says, how to get in control of work and life stress. Well, why don't we discuss what is stress? The way we look at the stress, we think of stress as something always totally negative. I understand stress is not good. We don't want to stress and we hate it, and it takes us out of our norm, out of our order in life, and it throws a monkey wrench in our way. It's like you're driving on a road to get to your destination and there are mud or there are puddles or there are ditches, and your car once falls into it's just stress. You don't like it. It takes you out of that whole tranquility and norm and order of things. But remember, the way we look at the stress, that's how it affects us. Sometimes the stresses are not like devastating type, so let's talk about those, because most stresses during our daily life is a deviation, is a hindrance, is not a devastating thing. But we still look at it as if it is a terrible, terrible thing that we simply must roll over, die, or not tolerate, or look at it as such a disaster, instead of looking at the stress in a different way, looking at the stress as how we deal with the stress can become bad or good. Because often in life, stress is the reason for us becoming more powerful, us becoming more complete, us developing better, us becoming stronger. If you look at several different instances in life, for example, if you the reason you become better in your studies is because you feel the stress of not knowing. You go into the classroom and the teacher is asking something you don't know, it's so stressful. So you go home and study more because that particular stressful situation made you understand the importance of it's better to know this stuff. So it's uncomfortable, but puts you in a position to want something more and take action towards arriving and achieving and attaining that level of success or whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Or look at stress, look at lobster. We talked about this before. You know, lobster is a mushy-cushy thing in a hard shell. And this hard shell doesn't expand, but the mushy-wishy thing inside it does. And when it does get to a certain size, that it meets the same size as the shell around it, it can't grow anymore. It's under stress and feels uncomfortable. So what does it do? It doesn't roll over, die. It takes it as a sign of growth. It goes under a rock, makes sure it's safe, and it sheds that shell out and brings a new shell, a bigger one. Yeah? And then now this mushy-cushy thing inside that shell has a space and can now grow. And it does that few times during its lifetime. And that's how it grows. So stress is a sign of opportunity to grow. You know? So everything that happens in your life, if you look at it as an opportunity for you to see what you can do with this situation and remedy it and learn from it and prepare for it and become stronger because of it, then that stress is actually a positive thing for us. So if you look at things that way, maybe that would be something that could change the whole thing, your whole concept and perception of stress during your work and your life. I hope it's something that you can use. It'll be helpful. So we are having another question. Let's see. Alan. Hello, Mr. Dadbeh. Hello, dear. I just want to say that I am extremely grateful to you for your helpful videos. About 4 weeks ago, I went through a breakup and was lost. Your videos helped me to calm down and deal with the episode in a productive manner. Good. I'm glad, Alan. I'm very grateful. Remember, guys, there are over 450 videos, short and long, over I think 50 different playlists on the YouTube channel that I have. You can simply go on the channel and search in my channel search engine and find the kind of topics that you're looking for in regards to life, in regards to your relationship, to break up, how to move on, how to deal with it, how to understand the role of your psyche, your thoughts, consciousness, fears, desire, and you go into that whole thing, how to see this whole thing, what it is all about, and why you feel the way you feel. All of that is in there. And if you still wanted more help, you can always go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and go on the consultation page and book an appointment one-on-one on a Skype consultation, which I do all around the world. And we will discuss it, hash it out, get it out, and free you from whatever it is that is got a hold on you and kept you stuck from moving forward and attending to your goals and plans. Because this happens to all of us. It's not something that you're supposed to roll over and die. But you got to understand, what is it that makes you feel that way? Once you understand that, then you won't think of it as a mistake. It has to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. is only because your mind thinks of it that way. Then because your mind, what it thinks is happening inside you, and you have credibility for yourself, then you believe your thoughts, therefore you think that's the way it has to be, and that's the way you have to react. But once you understand all the nitty-gritties of the roles of all these components and the content of your consciousness and the elements of your whole psyche, how and why they behave the way they do, then you will not be so devastated about it, and you see life as an opportunity rather than always a problem. And always remember, there is a good book somebody wrote, and I know about him. Me, My Psyche, and I. It's a good book. It's one of my 3 books, or 4 books, 3 books that it's on my site, Mind That Seeks Truth. Please do go read the sample chapter, look at the table of contents, and see if it has stuff that you may benefit from in life, and I know you will. So there are 2 versions, paper version and the ebook. Ebook version is very nominal, very cheap. And you guys owe it to yourself to read this book. And hopefully in a couple of years, maybe a second book that I come up on the same subject. But for now, this book is something that you must read to open your horizon and understand your psyche better. All the things that I talked about, fear, desire, ego, consciousness, thought, how it comes from, where it comes from, all of that is in there, plus many stuff. Is over what? I think the paper version is over 340 pages, and there are lots of good material in there that you need to know. Instead of constantly thinking that you're at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage because you really don't know how this works. Get that book, and you owe it to yourself to read it and enjoy it and keep it as a reference. There are other books on the channel that you can, on the site that you can see, which is the Breakup Pain Handbook, which is about 600 pages, and the other one, Me, My Psyche, and I, which I talked about, and Transient Thoughts and Me. Transient thoughts are the thoughts that appear in your head and you didn't desire them, you didn't ask for them, you didn't invite them. They just, uninvited, they appear to your head. And you wonder what these are. What do they mean? What do they have to do with you? Do they represent you? Do they represent your character? Does it have anything to do with what you want or what you are? And why are they there? How to manage them? And these are the things, that you would want to know. So, Transient Thoughts and Me, it's a small book, and Me, My Psyche, and I highly recommend them. So, getting back to what we were doing here, Dan says, you have helped me more than you know, okay, over the last year in coming out of other side. Keep up the good. Good, I'm glad that you feel that way. Go on my site, check out the book that I mentioned, and get that book. These are books that could be helpful all through your life. Justin says, Mehran, can you talk on manipulating our life? Is that LYF? Is it supposed to be life? Or is it another word that I haven't come to it? Tuning this subconscious mind, etc. Manipulating our life. Well, first of all, you're being manipulated by your consciousness. You're not manipulating life. You're being manipulated by your consciousness because you're living a second-hand life. What does second-hand life means? It may be many meanings, but one meaning is that unfortunately, almost everything that we experience and see, to a limit, not everything, but many things, as soon as you see it, you perceive it. You stop seeing that. For example, you see an orange tree, and as soon as you see the orange tree from the distance, your eyes connected to the orange tree, that's fine. You recognize it's an orange tree. You go closer, And suddenly you see the oranges and you start comparing the oranges and where the orange tree is, the surrounding area, to something in your consciousness that you experienced sometime before, in some other time, somewhere else. A memory of a similar setting or something to do with this setting that takes you to your past, to your memory. Memory being the past, therefore memory being dead, and therefore what you were living, what you were doing just that moment, which you were alive and in connection with the flow of life, with this new orange tree, suddenly turns into a death of a past. You still think you're living, but the living that you're doing is now death of the past, because you went to your consciousness, went to your memory, and no longer you're with this orange tree. You're with that other orange tree, which you have a picture of it, an experience of it in your memory. And that memory is already gone, non-existence. But you change your place from the now into the memory, so your living turned into death of the past. And yet, no longer you're experiencing what you were about to experience with this orange tree, because now you're with the other one, but yet you're recording this, because we're recording everything 24/7. So you're recording it, but in fact you're in front of it, but you're thinking about the other orange tree. So what happens? Later on, you see another orange tree, and you remember this one. So you're constantly one step behind the now, the actuality of life. Everything in life has become a perception of the past. And as soon as you experience something, you experience it, you perceive it according to the memory of something similar that you have in your mind. So that very actual life, the present moment, turns into the past, a dead memory, something that you're not really one with life anymore. And then later on, you become one with this while something else is in front of you, and you perceive it by remembering this one. That is how your consciousness is really manipulating you, by not allowing you to be one with the flow of life, with the actuality of life. So what I'm suggesting to you is that try to come out of the consciousness. When you are able to move the thoughts out of the consciousness, then you're free. Then you're living. Then you're living with the life as it is in its actuality in the now. And that is just like what we talked before, that life is a river, and this river comes from the mountain on the left side, and is flowing in front of you partly, and then it passes. The water that has passed on the river is your past, is the memory, is gone, non-existent. You can't reach it. Once it passes in front of you, you can't reach that water, you can't put your hand in it, you can't pick anything from it, it's gone. And the water that hasn't arrived, and it's on its way from the mountain, left side, towards you, you can't reach it, you can't stick your finger on it, you don't know what's in it, and it's not here, it hasn't happened yet. So again, it's an illusion, it's non-existent. The only water, the only part of life that you can be in contact with, and you can create reality and actuality with it, and has to do with you, you can experience it, you can interact with it, you can feel it, you can touch it, is the water that is passing by you in front of your feet. That's the one you can dip in and pick up and see what's in it. That's the kind of life, and that's the now. So you must be able to take your thoughts out of your consciousness, so you would be able to experience life as it's happening, as it's blooming, as its actuality, instead of always being in your consciousness, in your memory, and missing the actuality of living. And the living, your living, becomes in the death of the past. So how do you take your thoughts out of consciousness? How do you take your thoughts out of the past? And how do you connect with the flow of the energy that is happening every moment? Remember, every now is the present of your future. Every now is the future of your past. Every now is the present of your future. Every now is the future of your past. And every now is the present of your future, and every now is life. So this is what you need to do. For now, that should be heavy enough. I don't want to get heavier. You can, if you get the book that I talked about, Me, My Psyche and I, there is a part in there that says how to stop time. Talks about thought and time and stop time. It's interesting discussions that I'm sure you will enjoy. Justin, I hope that was something for you to enjoy and think about. Asad says, hi Mehran, share your views on meditation. It's a big conversation from some past experiences. Meditation is very important. Meditation is one way to bring your thoughts out of consciousness and free yourself from living in the past and becoming one with the energy of the universe as it flows at that moment. Expand your abilities to understand what the energy of the universe, the flow of the energy of the universe is, and how to become one with it. Meditation is an elixir of life. Meditation is when time stops. Because time and thought are the same. Look, if you are, again, that famous orange tree, if you are looking at an orange tree, you recognize the orange tree and you're in the now. You're in the same moment as the orange tree, and you are perceiving. You're the observer. You're observing the orange tree. That's your relationship with it. But as soon as you perceive that orange tree with some orange tree you saw it in your auntie's home or somewhere in your vacation, then you've gone into your memory, and memory is the past. Therefore the past is not now. The time changed. You went to a different time. You're no longer here. Therefore, you cannot say you are here. You are in the now, because your thought took you in the memory, and memory is in the past. So you're in the different times. You create a time. When you, let's say you have a little bit of a pain in your leg or your stomach last night, and you wonder, will I have this pain tomorrow? Will it go away? You see, you created time in your thoughts. If you're now thinking, last night I had pain, now I don't. I wonder if I will have it tonight. So you created time. So thought is time. We're not talking about time of making an appointment to a certain appointment that you want to go get a job or something or meet someone. We're talking about the actual thought, a relation between thought and time. You create a time with your thoughts. So if you consider all these things, you understand when you meditate, there are no memory, there is no consciousness that you're in there, there is no perception, you're totally out of your consciousness, there is no past or future, the thought is not working on the basis of perception of something or something that you're conjuring up hasn't happened, so time doesn't exist. So you're truly in meditation, one with the flow of the energy of the universe, and you're free from thoughts and time stops. There's a complete explanation of this in my book, Me, My Psyche and I. I highly recommend this book. Read it and enjoy it. So, I hope that, Asad, that was something for you to enjoy. Abhishek says, what to do when we feel stuck? Stuck? Stuck in what? Stuck in the mud? Take your foot and move it out. Stuck You may feel stuck in life because you don't see or understand or have focused on or paid full attention to the fact that life is like the wave of the ocean. It's never the same. It's always moving. But just because you cannot see the wave that has started coming towards you from the center of the ocean, because so far you can't see it, it doesn't mean that there's no wave coming towards you. You just can't see it. The waves of the ocean is continuously moving. Life energy is continuously moving. Therefore, everything is created by the life energy. Since life energy is continuously renewed and moving, therefore new things are on the way and they will happen. So therefore, you're never stuck. You're stuck at that moment with that particular situation, but the next moment things will change, and that what you think is stuck may not be, will not be, could not be. You can change that by understanding that you're never stuck. You're just too focused on one moment of the now and thinking that that one moment passing flow of the energy of the now is final, is constant, which is not. It's always a wave. There's always a movement. You may not see the movement, but there is a movement. You may not see the wave that is on its way from the center of the ocean towards you, but you can't see it. But it doesn't mean just because you can't see it, it's not on its way. Human being is accustomed to only believe what it can see or what it knows. Often in life, you don't know about the wave that has started from the center of the ocean. You don't know about it. It's started coming towards you, and you can't see it. Therefore, you don't believe it. You think you're stuck. But you're not stuck. You're part of the next change. And that change is going to happen. But as long as you're aware that this change will happen, it should happen, is part of life, is part of the flow and the energy of life that is constantly moving and flowing forward. So you're never stuck. And if you don't think you're stuck, then you are not stuck, and you will be taking actions to move on in harmony with the flow and natural flow and movement of the energy of the universe. Everything changes. I hope, Abhishek, that helps something for you to think about. Brenda says, you are right. I'm having trouble handling stress. I used to do well, but not so well lately. But I'm sure you can. If you remember, if you did it before, you're now stronger and wiser and older, so you can do it even better now. So that's your cue. Abhishek says, we try something and we are unable to accomplish that, and we feel frustrated, so we feel bad. How to handle that kind of emotion? Well, the thing is, if you think that everything you want to do should happen with the first try, well, that's a wrong assumption. Often human being has to try something over and over and over until it happens. But just because you tried it 10 times it didn't happen doesn't mean it will not happen. It just means you've tried 10 times. Maybe you got to do 11. Maybe you got to do 20. You got to continue. Yeah? So thinking that you're frustrated doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. You're frustrated because you're impatient, because you want things to happen right away. You're impatient. Just continue. Keep digging. You will hit water. You can't just hit 5 meters and say, well, I've dug 5 meters. I'm tired. So because I'm tired, that's my cue that this is not happening. Your limits of action and perseverance is not equal to the possibility of that something happening or not happening. They're two different things. You're tired and frustrated. That's one thing. That not happening is another thing. Your frustration and tiredness does not represent the possibility of something happening or not happening. It just means it hasn't happened yet. That's all. So keep continuing. Keep continuing. Find better way. And if you see you're hitting your head to the rock, well, take your head off, change direction, and go hit your head somewhere else that actually breaks through. Yes, Brenda, you do. Rashid says, is being free means necessary to live alone? No, not necessarily. Depends on your mood, depends on your need, depends on how you spend your time. If you need somebody to affirm you, to always say, oh, good boy, or, if you focus on pleasure to mean you're not alone, well, that's different. But your understanding of life should not be based on what other people will actually be able to help you understand. You can learn about what life is and what freedom is by yourself. Not that when everything is pleasurable, then you think, oh, I'm free. Pleasure and freedom has nothing to do with each other. Pleasure is just wonderful. Freedom is when you're free from your thoughts holding you down, making you feel a certain way because it believes in a certain way. But thoughts, whatever comes to your head, doesn't mean it has accuracy or credibility. It's a thought. You got to be the judge to find out if that thought is valuable or not. Yeah? Go on my YouTube channel and watch something called The Quality of Life, Watcher and the Watched, Controller and the Controlled, Observer and Observed. You will understand quite an interesting points in there. So I hope that would be of some interest to you. Otherwise, if I open that conversation, I'll go for the next hour. Abhishek says, I hope what you're sipping is tea only. It's not tea. This is, what was it? A blueberry juice, just this much, and the rest of it is hot water. It's not bad. If it's too much blueberry juice, I first put half a cup and then the rest hot water. It was too strong. But a little bit, it's lovely. Dan, so true as always. Okay, thank you. Rashid Alawi says, what's your point of view on somebody who lives its life without reading and is not interested completely in acquiring knowledge? You don't acquire knowledge, it will be hard to go forward. It's like saying somebody is interested in sitting in a car but not interested in turning the engine and move forward. What do you think about it? Well, I think he'll be there in the same way and the scenery will not change because that's where he's stuck, that's where he's sitting, and everything will be changing around him, but he will not change with them, or he will not be advancing. He would be where he is because he has chosen that he doesn't want to move forward. So acquiring knowledge is very important. While knowledge is always limited, but it's always more than before. So it is good to seek knowledge. You don't have to be a bookworm and constantly look for knowledge, but knowledge is all around you. From life you're learning things. Knowledge is not about reading books. Knowledge is about understanding how the thoughts and consciousness and fears and desires and egos work together, how they make you tick, how they make you see life, how you make you interact with other people, with how they say, how important or unimportant it is, what they do, what they say, the effects of them on you, the effects of life on you, how you see other people interact with you or with their own lives. And you learn from all these by observing, by understanding the relationship between the content of your consciousness. By learning that, that's an unlimited knowledge. It's constantly advancing. You got to learn that. That's real knowledge. Knowledge in the books and all that is very important, but that's for doing certain things, sciences and finding out cures to this and that and so forth, and learning about different, sciences and things and trades and whatnot, become skillful in something. These are all different knowledge. They're all important. Depends what you want to do in life. But knowledge is always important. That's why we're here in this world, to become more knowledgeable. Otherwise, what's the use of being here? We just came like a donkey and we leave as an ass, or the other way around. So it's just the same. We don't want to be this. We want to accumulate some knowledge, whether that knowledge is coming from academic books or academic studies, organized studies, or through understanding life and in relation with our psyche, how our thoughts, consciousness, desires, ego, fears, mind and body coordination, how they function, how they relate to each other, and how they affect the way we negotiate our daily lives and events of our lives. Abhishek says, orange tree explanation was awesome. Okay, good. Misbah says, Mehran, can you tell me the exact meaning of happiness? Actually, if you go on YouTube channel, there is a few videos I've made on success and happiness, and that will give you a complete meaning of what happiness is. Otherwise, here it would be repeating the same thing, and it would be quite a long explanation. Please, Misbah, go on the YouTube channel and look up success and happiness. Just in my search of the channel, so success and happiness, or go into the playlist and find happiness or success and happiness. You will have lots of them, Misbah. But in general, in short, happiness in life is not about big things. It's not about things. It's about peace and understanding that you come up with about your relationship with life, your relationship with the present moments. To be in the present moment is a very safe place usually, because it's such a small moment that usually it's not enough space for anything bad happen in it. It's very quickly, and the next moment just around the corner. Before you know it, it's the next moment. And at the same time, you'd be experiencing the actuality of life. You will be out of your consciousness, and the time will stop, and you'll be enjoying everything while you're with the flow of the energy of the universe as it's happening, rather than wondering about what happened and why something went the way it did, or what something will happen, and worry about how and why and would it and should it and all that. And which means in neither case you are here. You're either there in the past or you're in the future, and never with the actuality of life, therefore life passing you by. You're cheated out of life when you're constantly roaming around your memory, or conjuring up something about future, or worrying about it, and so on and so forth. But being with this moment and focusing on small things, just the fact that you can be with that particular small moments that each moment have. Every moment can be dissected as smaller moments, and if you can be with all those, which means you're paying full attention to life, full attention to what's happening, and you're free from the nonsense that your mind conjures up, whether in the past, in memory, or for the future. So if you can do that and understand that simple things brings happiness. You know, we talked about it before. The fact that you can breathe and there's another breath after that. When you focus on breathing in, totally in that breath, and the beautiful feeling of exhaling it, your mind is right here. You're with the moment. You're with the now. You're with the flow, fresh flow of the energy of the universe. And there's no thoughts in your mind. That frees you from all worries and fears. And for that very moment, you're happy, because happiness is when there's no hindrance, when there's no fear, when there's no need for anything. So when you're focusing on that breath and appreciating that breath so much, at that moment you need nothing else, because you're fully focused on enjoying that life-bringing breath. And your total focus is there. That's happiness. Knowing that all you need is something to drink, some safe place to sleep, something to eat, breathing. These are simply all we need to be happy. Because if this is not there, if that breath is not possible, the rest of it is bullshit. So really the real essence of happiness is in the essence of life, the simplest things that facilitates this whole person to want all these other things and complain and fuss and love and not love and happy and unhappy. Before any of that happens, this has to be. And what makes this to be is simple thing. This breath, this drink, sleep, something to eat. So that is really the essence of happiness. The rest of it is gravy, extras. So I hope that's something helpful, and also see the meaning of happiness as I explained on the YouTube channel. Hello Piscine, good evening to you too. Justin says thank you, you're welcome. Constant says, how do we perceive the time? So people say that time passes by slower when we run, we're ahead of time. Another example is that we lie on the couch, looking TV for various hours. We are not master of time. So can we expand our time, or do other factors limit it? Justin, just about maybe 10 minutes ago, I discussed time, how it's created. And perhaps when this video is posted, you can go back in there and check it out. Perhaps that would be an explanation or a start of a conversation. And then if that was enough, next time bring a little bit maybe more focused question on the subject, then I will address it that way. But I think your answer is what we already covered, I believe. Asad said, thank you so much, Mehran. I will go through this book. Yes, good, please do. Many of you feel that you've been very much helped through your challenges of life or relationship or whatnot, and you have understood that the clarity of your mind about how your mind functions was the reason for you having been able to push out of that hole and regaining your balance in life. And for that reason, all of that is in that book. You need to read that book, Me, My Psyche and I. Every one of you should get that book, and I mean it. Yes, of course, you know, that's why I wrote it for, to make people read it. But if you keep just looking at the videos and these talks, it will always be a question answer. But if you understand really what I've said in that book, then you become someone who can figure out things. And that's my whole intention, for you to figure out things. Not just figure out the question, but be able to figure out the answers. And for that, you need to read that book. So go get that book on ebook version, which is very cheap, and you will enjoy it. Makes your mind clear for you what this thing is all about, how it functions. All right, Brenda, I'm going to get, okay, good. Mindthatseekstruth.com is the name of my site, and if you go, you will see that link on my Facebook page anyhow. So when you go in there, then you scroll down and click on the books, and you can look at the table of contents free of charge. You can read a chapter of it and see how it grabs you, and the table of contents tells you what it contains, and then you can simply make that decision. Vanisha says, hi Mehran, where's the tea? The tea actually has turned into blueberry juice and hot water today. And it's actually lovely. Do you believe, Vanisha says, do you believe there is something like soulmate? Actually, we talked about that in another video. I don't know what I But before you can have a soulmate, you got to understand who you are. What makes you tick? If you understand about how thought is born, what is its relation to consciousness, which consciousness is you, the whole of you, your center, and to understand how the consciousness was made, how was your consciousness, the content of your consciousness was put together, what are the ingredients of it, then you know how you are made, then you know how the other person made, then you can understand if that person can actually be your soulmate. And what does soulmate means? I mean, how could two people be exactly the same when their consciousness, the way it's been put together, the process that has gone to become what it is, which forms them, the total of them, the whole of them, the center of them, it will be different. So, soulmate, maybe it's just about someone who's got so many things in common with you. But really, I don't believe there is any such thing as soulmate that you should be looking for it, and then you conjure it up, someone that you love and is now broken up with you, and because you're infatuated with that person, you say, that was my soulmate, so I gotta keep on hanging on for her or him to come back because that was my... Why would he be your soulmate? On what basis? You are constantly on developing, changing. And what is it makes you that you can know entirety of the other person while you yourself don't know about yourself, and you're constantly changing even when you do know how you are? But that's going to be constantly changing. Your consciousness is constantly being modified. So it's not about soulmate, it's about being able to work it together, compromise, and understand each other's consciousness, and understand the mechanism of the consciousness, understand each other's psychological security, what it is you're looking for that brings you about that, understand each other's mechanical process, and all these are what you need to know. But just the word soulmate makes you feel like, oh, I found someone who's exactly understands me. How could he understand? How could she understand you? When you yourself don't even know how you're put together. And when you do, then you understand that that person is put together similarly, but with different material inside. And that, how can that person then become your soulmate? Just because you like, you desire that person, you have a pleasure of intimacy, or a pleasure of being affirmed by that person, or makes you feel psychologically secure just because you're more than you're two now. And certain things that you rely on that person makes you feel more secure in your life. And all of that means that he's your soulmate or she's your soulmate? No. Look into it more. Don't look for soulmate. Look to understand yourself, then you understand the others. Because everything that is wrong with the others is wrong with you. Everything is good about them is good about you. And it is all same process, only different material. So figure that, how that works, then you'll have a better chance to find somebody that you would call yourself, or himself or herself, soulmate. It's closer to that definition. Seti, hello Seti. Yes, I know you're late, but the good thing is that this post will be reposted so you can see it from the beginning if you like. Dan says, overthinking is the worst thing, I think. Transient thoughts. By the way, I don't think you will any have soulmate. The river is always running. Okay. Overthinking, transient thoughts, is in the Transient Thoughts and Me, that whole subject. And those books are written in very informal way. It's like I'm talking to you. It's no buzzwords or difficulties and so on. It's just like a talking, you know. Aida, Salam Aida Jan, how are you? Good to see you here. Vahap Subasi, hi Mr. Mehran. What do you recommend to Rover or recover? Rover from childhood trauma, recover from childhood trauma. and how, and low self-esteem. Well, I have just put one video up last week that self-esteem was a question, and there's an answer about self-esteem. And eventually when I get to it, I will take that particular question and answer as one video, it's maybe a few minutes, and put it up so it'll be easier to find. But go back to last week's, I think it would be number 59 or 58 or 59 live talk, because I think this would be the 60th, and you will see that question of what is it? What was the question? The self-esteem in there. Suddenly the video looked finished and then came back. I hope you guys are still there. Send me a thumb something to know that we are still connected, because it looked to me, it said it finished and then came back on. Somebody send me a thumbs up or something so I know we're still on the same page. Ah, there we go. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now can somebody tell me what time is it? I think I talked a lot, lots of questions. I'm grateful for the questions. So if someone tells me what time, 12:35. Okay, great. Our time is pretty much up. We've been on for exactly 1 hour, and I'm glad that you guys had wonderful questions, and I'm happy to have had the chance to be with you and discuss some of the things as we do every week. Remember, the Facebook page, Mind That Seeks Truth, author, and the books, both are mine, but go to one of them, which you have already signed on this one. Share it with your friends on your social media. Let people know about it and get to know about my work. To come in and like the page, and go on YouTube channel, like the videos that you like, and share the videos that you like so people will know about it. Again, to promote the channel, because as you know, you've all been gracious and with me and feel that the videos have been very helpful. Thousands of people feel the same way. But as you know, with the wonderful contents that you all say my videos have, I don't see that many 1 million views, which many other channels, which you all tell me their contents are nonsense and garbage, but they still have 800,000 or 1 million view on one of their videos, two of their, or most of their videos, and I wonder how they get it. Perhaps people share them. So if you guys are happy with the contents and it's been helpful to you, please share the videos so we get also, people get to know about our work. And always do check on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. If you need to talk to me one-on-one, go on the consultation page and book a time, and we'll have a Skype consultation, which I have all around the week, all around the world, with all the people who book for it and need it. And also, look at the books, get the books, at least the Me, My Psyche and I, or the Transient Thoughts and Me. And hope you will have a wonderful, wonderful week. I look forward to talk to you guys next week, the same page. And tomorrow on Amazing Things in the World, I'll have another live talk as I usually have on Sundays. And that Facebook page has got over 5.2 million reach. And hopefully we'll have our own Facebook page just as much in time. So wish you all well. Love you all. Thank you for being here. And talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.